Despite all of the drama surrounding Kawhi Leonard and the lingering questions about his quad injury, the 2017-18 season has often felt like business as usual for the Spurs. San Antonio has won 8 of its last 10 games and surged to 4th in the Western Conference behind a dominant stretch by All-Star forward LaMarcus Aldridge, who has averaged 28.8 points, 56.9% shooting from the field, 9.0 rebounds and 1.7 blocks per game in that span. The Spurs' blowout victory over the Rockets on Sunday marked the 19th consecutive season in which San Antonio has hit at least 45 wins, the longest streak in NBA history. The Spurs will likely make the playoffs, and though he is not the frontrunner for the award, Greg Popovich should garner Coach of the Year consideration. NBA Playoffs 2018 postseason odds for tight races in East-West, and yet the Leonard situation places a cloud of mystery over the team. Speaking to reporters Sunday, Popovich put the onus on Leonard and his personal team of doctors in regards to a possible return. When he and his group feel he's ready, he'll be ready. With the postseason approaching and Leonard's status unclear, the Spurs face 3 big questions about what comes next for both the franchise and the former NBA Finals MVP. Will Kawhi Leonard play for the Spurs again this season? At this point, it would be shocking to see Leonard take the floor again, and the Spurs are operating as though he is done. Leonard is not coming back, Spurs guard manager Ginobili said last month. For me, he's not coming back because it's not helping to think Leonard is returning. I guess you guys made us fall for it. But we have to think that he's not coming back, that we are who we are, and that we got to fight without him. Patty Mills echoed Ginobili's sentiment in no uncertain terms. We've got to move on. Leonard is back in New York continuing rehabilitation on his quad, and there is no immediate timetable for when he would be ready to return to the starting lineup. The focus has shifted from "it will be fine once Kawhi is back" to "fine, Kawhi isn't coming back." Leonard has played in only 9 games in the regular season, averaging 16.2 points, 4.7 rebounds, 2.3 assists and 2.0 steals. He understandably showed some rust over that small sample size, and it would be unfair to expect Leonard to excel in the playoffs after nearly a full season away from high-level competition. The Spurs will move forward under the assumption they will be a Leonard-less team, because the reality is that's what they've already become. How has Kawhi Leonard's injury affected the Spurs culture? The Spurs have always flown under the radar. The wins, the championships, the Hall of Famers, the entire culture draws praise from other stars and coaches across the league. Every time a little bit of doubt creeps in, the Spurs crush it with another winning streak. But the Leonard storyline has been full of strange twists and turns, and the locker room has been forced to deal with a lack of communication. A recent players-only meeting addressed Leonard's absence as teammates spoke up about the frustrations. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reported the meeting was tense and emotional, though Spurs guard Danny Green disagreed with that assessment. Couldn't be any more incorrect lol. https://t.co/exo4evio2 Danny Green at @thegreen_14 March 22, 2018. Only adding fuel to the fire, Tony Parker compared his own devastating quad injury to Leonard's experience, saying his was 100 times worse. Parker also explained why he didn't seek a second opinion. "I could have gone anywhere, but I trust my Spurs doctors," Parker said. "They have been with me my whole career. They know my body better than anybody. I feel like we have the best medical team in the world." It would be easy to take Parker's comments at face value during any other season, but with everything that has transpired, it's hard not to at least consider them as a message to Leonard. Sure, the Spurs have just kept chugging along and collecting wins as always, but it's worth noting this has tested the culture, one that hasn't previously faced a challenge this bizarre. What does this mean for Kawhi Leonard's future with the Spurs? Does it sound crazy to say Leonard may have already played his last game in a Spurs uniform? Yes, it does. But is it actually crazy? Well, not necessarily. This summer, the Spurs can offer Leonard a supermax contract worth $219 million, keeping him in San Antonio through 2024. Should that deal be taken off the table by the Spurs or rejected by Leonard, then plenty of front officers would be preparing a pitch for Leonard when he becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2019. There's also the possibility of a blockbuster trade. Even with Leonard only under contract for one more year, assuming the Supermax isn't signed, teams would be willing to move valuable assets for a player like Leonard, who can change the game on both ends of the floor. Could a fringe contender chase Leonard in the hopes of finally landing a franchise star? Would a team like the Celtics trade picks and/or young prospects in a win-now move? ESPN's Brian Windhorst reports general managers will definitely call the Spurs about Leonard's availability after the season. What on earth is going on with Kawhi Leonard? That's a simple question with a complicated answer at windhorst.twitter.com/DWJLCG5Car outside the lines at Otlanese Pen, April 2, 2018. To be clear, this could end up as a blip on the radar. Remember, Aldridge requested a trade this past off-season, leading Popovich to change his ways and figure out how to best use Aldridge's considerable skills. Spurs legend Tim Duncan nearly left San Antonio in 2000 for the Magic, but David Robinson helped convince him to stay. Maybe Leonard will simply be another what-if in Spurs history. By normal NBA standards, this situation sounds weird. By Spurs standards, this has turned into a circus, or maybe that's just how it feels because all we know is the Spurs machine. Popovich could call Leonard one day, share a laugh and put this all behind them. Until that happens, though, big questions will remain.